In the world of clicks and views, we got the tricks, ain't got time to lose. Christina and Joe dropping knowledge non-stop for all you realtors. Climbing to the top, grab your camera, let's make the tape. Content gold, no time to waste. From open house to renovation glory, YouTube secrets unfold your story. Build those leads with every post. Christina and Joe, the ultimate hosts. Market trends and virtual tours. Turn those watchers into door knocking scores. Lights, camera, action, go live. Tips and tricks to help you thrive. Thumbnail magic, title spice. A clickbait charm, but a touch of nice. SEO game on point and tight. Comments buzz.
Hey, good looking. What you got cooking?
Hey, what's happening?
Nice of you to pop in right on time.
I know, right? It's like you didn't have to wait extra 5 minutes or whatever it normally is.
Well, we're glad to see you, Joe. So last week we had to postpone our live stream because we were supposed to be on another call that ended up getting canceled beyond the point. So
Yeah.
we're talking about like you know how like you hear these things that other people say, little hacks, little tricks, and people genuinely believe, you know, these things about YouTube.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about some of the things, and I'm going to ask you a question. So, and then you can give me your response. So YouTube favors certain creators over other creators. Doesn't matter how hard you try.
You want me to answer that like what people think or what it is?
Yeah, that's what people think. I want you to answer what it truly is.
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because YouTube looks at each individual video and you know, like they look at each individual video and they look at your audience and they look at your audience retention and they look at your thumbnail and they look at your title and they find that compatible audience. That's why sometimes a random video on your channel will just all of a sudden blow up. It's because it's satisfied all of those check marks for YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Once you put out a thumbnail, you shouldn't really change it. You know, you've already done your research. You should just leave it the way it is and let it cook.
No, thumbnails, if it's not working, change it. But make it a minimal change so you can like track like what you're changing to find out what's working and what isn't. It could be very, very subtle, but make a big difference.
Huge difference. Huge difference. As little as like flipping the image of your face around or making your face even larger or taking your face off the thumbnail can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
You should, here's another one. You should wait 24 to 48 hours before you ever change a thumbnail.
No.
No. There is a method to the madness. Like when should somebody change a thumbnail out?
I think that the thing is that everybody's going to be a little bit different, right? And you have to get to know like your channel and like what you think your video should be doing, and if it isn't, then change it out. So it's not just a metric of time. It's what's the impressions, what's the click-through rate? Is it a really bad click-through rate? Like it could be changed like within 10 minutes you could change it. Like it's more about like looking at what do you normally get when you release stuff and what is it that it's doing, and if it's not following that trend, then you probably should change something.
Yeah, like it has like if you're normally within the first hour get 200 views and you're only getting 50, change out the thumbnail. And change out the thumbnail before you ever change out the title. Don't mess with that title. Let the title cook for a little bit.
I think that's the biggest thing is people go in and change the title rather than the thumbnail.
Everything. Yep. As soon as you change that title, it resets everything.
Yeah.
It's like you're starting at zero again. Okay. Here's another one. My thumbnails for the past year have been terrible. So I've learned a bunch of stuff now. So I'm going to go through and change out all my thumbnails on my old videos.
Don't do it. Just leave it.
100% leave it. leave it. Then the reason being is, uh, whenever you're doing a video and you've done old videos, what you're trying to do is to get progressively better over time. If you look at my old videos, I don't really touch them because, like, what's the point at this point? I mean, they're so old at that point that just no reason, especially if they're not even getting any views now and they don't relate to the content I'm making now. I mean, sure, it makes the channel look more consistent and look nicer if someone was to go through that videos tab. But most people aren't doing that. They're seeing what's in their feed right now and they're clicking on what's making them happy and satisfied right now. So just move forward with what you've learned today. So
Right.
here's another one. What a video has taken off on my channel that doesn't really fit my avatar now. Should I erase it?
No, no. Leave it. Don't change anything. That's like, yeah, no, don't. Just leave it. Just move on. Keep making your content and it will circle back around.
Yeah. So back in my day, when I first was starting this channel, I had one video, and it was my video about getting the smell of dog pee out of carpet when you're selling your house. I liked the video. It was a great video, but it had nothing to do with affordable housing.
Right.
At that time, I was just making real estate video for everybody and everything, and it really wasn't sticking. But that video ended up sticking, and like, I tried to capitalize on it and everything else. But then when I moved directions with my channel, that still ended up being my top performing video for the longest time, even though I was trying to change directions of the channel. And when I spoke to Mr. Dale, he was back when I was in 2019, I told him, should I erase that video? He said, absolutely not. Because no matter what, it was driving traffic to the channel. And if I pulled the plug on those people, then there would be no traffic coming to my channel. There wasn't even an opportunity to find my other content because I had pulled the plug.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it disrupts your momentum and everything that you have going on.
Yep. Speaking of momentum, I have a video that went viral. Now I should make another video on the exact same topic to capitalize on the video that just went viral last week. Yes or no?
No.
Why?
Because it needs time. That's when you let it cook. Like, that's the time that you say, okay, let's let this run its course. And then after about a month, you can make another video about it.
Yep. Yeah, you got to wait a little time. Yeah, like I heard Daryl say, it's trampling over the traffic that you've already created. So now
Yes.
you put it on another video, so it takes away from the traffic that was already had momentum on it. You pulled away the momentum that you had on that original video, and that original video would have done a lot better if you didn't put out a video right after on the same exact topic.
Yep.
You have to wait for that video to come down a little bit before you put out another video, so that way it can lift up the old video and the new video.
Exactly.
Yep. You got to give it let's think of another one. I have to live stream on my video or I will not get leads.
No.
No.
I mean,
No.
there's lots of ways of getting leads. I think it comes down to providing value, and live streams are great to like supplement, but you need to get momentum and you've got to get your channel out there. And that's going to be through creating content that is engaging, that checks off all those boxes that you just talked about a minute ago of following best practices and then being consistent.
Mm-hmm. Here's another one. If I hire an SEO expert, it's going to make my videos rank better on Google and YouTube, and in turn lift up my channel so I'll get more leads.
No.
But they sent me a scary email with all sorts of red lines.
I know they're really good at like getting people duped into thinking that they need to do that because they draw these little boxes around it and we can do this and we can do that. No, it doesn't matter. The metrics are totally different now.
Right. So at one time, and this is 100% true, at one time, all of those little things when it came to SEO, it was important to YouTube. you got to remember, YouTube was trying to figure out their own systems. So in order for them to do that, they didn't have the ability that they have today. Like today, they know every frame of your video.
Yep.
But back in when they first started, they didn't know that. So they were trusting that whatever was being uploaded and written in that description box was what that video was about. So that's how they were serving it to more people. So, creators and people are smart enough to realize that if they put like Mr. Beast on their thumbnail and in their description, that it would probably get more attention, right?
Yep.
And those tricks don't work anymore. I used to even see people at like, they would have this whole description and then they would put like keyword tags at the very bottom to try to keyword stuff their description box. And that would have worked, 2012, but it's not going to work, today. Not even close.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry, I'm still getting over a cold. I had to take a little sippy sip.
That's
all right.
all good.
Okay. Here's another one. Whenever I put out a video, the minute I put out the video, I go ahead and send it to my email list. So that way they will watch my video that I just put out.
No, let it, and a lot of people do that, right?
Yes.
They'll put it in there and then they'll add it to their newsletter. And what you're missing is the fact that it's not getting a chance to actually let YouTube do its job and find the people that are actually looking for that stuff. So it's got to cook too. You've got to let it sit. Doesn't mean that you can't do that later. You just got to get through that first process and let it understand like what's going on with your channel, with all that stuff, and then go ahead and put it on there. But it's got to be at least, what did we say, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Mm-hmm. Maybe longer. Longer is better.
Yeah, I say the minimum is 4 weeks.
Yeah,
minimum is 4 weeks, because you want that video to do its YouTube thing first.
Exactly.
Everybody's aware. Don't put those links into LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or any of those other sites. If you're going to upload videos to those sites, make sure you upload them organically to that site, so that way they can do their thing on those platforms. One thing for people to also be aware of is that even though you may have gotten a lot of views on a video on YouTube, it may not resonate with the same kinds of people on other platforms,
right?
Because the people that are on those platforms are completely different. Like, I'm not an Instagram person. I don't put anything on Instagram. My videos would not do well on Instagram at all. On Facebook, they don't really work that great because people are coming to YouTube for informational videos. Now, like those listing videos, the really fun, goofy ones, they do fantastic.
Do well.
They do fantastic on Instagram. They do really good on Facebook. They, they might do okay on YouTube, but not nearly like they do on those other platforms.
100%.
It's just the way that the system works. But it's one of those people that, well, it did really good on Instagram, but I don't know why it didn't do good on YouTube. Totally different audience. Here's another one that a lot of people think. My market is too saturated. There's a ton of YouTube real estate agents in my area. There's no way I can start now and catch up to what they are created on YouTube itself.
Yeah, no. Okay, so this is a really good question because I think that a lot of people get super worried about like my market is saturated. Here's why they probably think this is because what are they doing? They're watching those videos. So what does YouTube do? It says, oh, they like watching real estate videos in this area. So let's find every realtor that's doing that and put it in their feed. So it makes it seem like there's like all of these agents that are actually making all this content. But really what the algorithm did is sent all of the stuff that is going out there, which it could be 300 agents in a little small town and it wouldn't matter. But the thing is to them, it seems super overwhelming because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up. I can't compete. But realistically, it is a blue ocean and there is so much availability and so much space for you to create like your own way of doing your real estate that will gravitate towards a buyer that or a seller that like understands you and you guys speak the same language. The thing is that there's plenty of room. It's just that people start feeling I think overwhelmed and they don't know where to start, and then they're judging where they're at, which is maybe they've never made a video, and then they're looking at someone that's been grinding away for 3 years and they're like, I can't do that. And really they can, but they have to commit to doing it and realize that it's the new way of prospecting.
Absolutely. This one's my new favorite one. I don't really have to create content anymore like I used to. I don't have to really research and understand what YouTube's doing because AI can do it for me. It can do the script, it can make the title, it can even make the thumbnail. So content creation is so much easier now because I just do whatever AI tells me to do and I do it.
Yeah, I mean, you totally can do that, and you can,
Yeah.
but what it comes down to is what do you do as a realtor that like there's and Daryl talks a lot about this is you storytelling, and there's a human element to this that AI doesn't know, and there's experiences that you have as an agent the AI doesn't have. And so what people are going to YouTube for is that pain point of I've got to learn how to do this, or I need some advice, or I want to learn more about like what are my options. And they follow people that are explaining those things and speaking in a way that they understand. So if yes, you could totally make um, an AI channel. It for what we do in real estate probably would tank and do terrible because of the fact that people are there to actually get information. If you were going to do like a faceless YouTube channel and all you were doing is telling horror stories of real estate things, that probably would work. It wouldn't get you any leads. You wouldn't get any like business from it, but maybe you could do something like that. But if your goal is to grow your real estate business, then you have to make a effort and say, okay, I'm going to be making videos. I'm going to be adding value. I'm going to learn what YouTube wants. And what does YouTube want? They want what the viewer wants. They want the viewer to stay on their platform as long as possible. So if we can keep their attention and keep people engaged, then we're rewarded by YouTube pushing it out more and more and more to find more people that fit our audience. But there's no easy button to this. You can't just have AI do all of it. Now there is a lot of tools that AI can actually enhance what you're doing and help you expedite things, but it's not going to you can't replace yourself yet, with that. I just you have to have that human element and that element where you're telling stories. But there are some really cool updates that ChatGPT is doing, that Runway is doing, where you're able to do things that you couldn't do 6 months ago. And one of those is thumbnail design. Like graphic design is going to be much easier for people that are non-graphic designers to use using ChatGPT.
I just saw some thumbnail creation today. That was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was a guy like he made a fish sandwich, right? So he showed the patty and it was the actual like breaded patty, and then it looked like stitches across the bun, and then
Yep.
a fish was laying on over the other side, and it looked very realistic. I'm like, this is the stuff that I used to spend hours trying to like what was in my brain create, and now
And
the
now
chat,
it's doing it.
yeah, now it's doing it. I mean, it's still stuff you have to play with, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's not like you just hey press a button and then do it. Like it still takes effort. You still have to focus on it, but and you have to work with it. Sometimes it doesn't even. Sometimes it gets it totally wrong, and you have to like. It still takes time and effort, but it's getting faster to where you can actually make things that you couldn't make before or didn't know how to make. You can do now. So it is
Right.
helpful for sure, but it's not, you can't just turn it all over to AI and expect it to just knock it out of the park.
And the other thing about that too is that um, don't just use AI. Like
Right.
you have to understand who your avatar in your niche is, because some people are highly annoyed and do not like it. Like my daughter hates everything AI. She's 22 years old and she's like, it's destroying the environment. It's just like, so anytime she sees anything created with AI, because she can see it automatically. If that's your avatar, if your
Yeah,
avatar's in
it's
their
not going to
20s,
work.
in the like, you got to really understand who your audience is, and before you start dipping into things that your audience might totally reject. A lot of
No,
that is
it's
also
true.
testing.
It's 100% true.
Yep, yep. I saw the other thing about AI that always drives me crazy is I saw somebody on Twitter that's selling a program where it's completely faces the channel. It's all AI scripted, titles, thumbnails, the whole 9 yards. And they are claiming that you will make all this money by doing these faceless channels. And then they have a few channels they have like stolen from, and they're like basically showing proof that this is
Yeah.
going to work. And here's the thing: the people that have the best, most income producing faceless channels, they have spent their own personal hours on it forever and ever and ever. Like
Yeah.
their scripting alone and their pacing and the music that they use, the sound effects they use, the imagery they're
They're
using,
still editing.
they are still editing the crap out of it. You know, like they have a whole plan with their faceless channels. They're not just willy-nilly haphazardly throwing these together because they spent no time doing it. And so whenever you see a promotion like that, you know, easy, no effort, create videos, go viral type of content out there telling you can get rich by doing this, just like anything. Sounds too good to be true. It probably is.
Yeah.
Just be very careful out there. I've seen that is very common on Twitter that these guys are peddling this, and be very leery of the screenshots they're showing from their channels.
Yeah.
Um,
And a lot of times
they
the
lie.
AI stuff that is there,
Uh-huh.
um, is like, they don't tell you how many hours it took to generate that. They just show you like, you can do this now super easy. And then it's like, it's beautiful and it looks amazing, but they didn't tell you that it took 7 hours
Correct.
to make. So it's getting better and there's some really cool updates and advances, but it's I mean, we'll see what happens in 6 months where it's at, but I mean, you still have to spend time. And I think the biggest thing is spending time making sure that the viewer is watching that and is getting value out of it. Because
Mhm.
if they're getting that, then it will get like, you'll share it naturally. Like people will just, they'll share, they'll comment, they'll talk, which then gives all the triggers back to YouTube saying, this is good content, people like it, let's test it with a little bigger audience to see how they like it. And you know, until it grows. And I think that's the biggest thing that most people are getting sold when they get sold this AI stuff, is you don't have to do anything and it's going to be great. And it's like, yeah, you'll put content out, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to convert anything.
Yep. Correct. All right, here's another myth. It doesn't matter how long my video is, as long as those minutes that I made that video are the most interesting minutes. So if it's a
No, it
4-minute
matters.
video, yeah, it matters.
It matters.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like I see this a lot on channels when we go through the whole review process. If you guys want to review, you can just put it in the chat. We will see, and there'll be 4-minute videos. And the thing is that if you're making 4-minute videos, that isn't what YouTube is really looking for. If you look at the statistics for the last two years, more people are turning off the television and they're turning to YouTube to replace their television. So what YouTube is looking for is those videos that are over 8 minutes. And the reason I say they're over 8 minutes, 8 minutes and 30 seconds, is that YouTube's job is first satisfy the audience. And the more you satisfy the audience, what can they do? Sell more ads.
Yep.
So they need your videos to be over that 8 minute, and I think it's 30 seconds, right? Or is it 8 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 8 minutes and 15 or something, but it's like 8:30 is perfect.
Right. And the more you can increase that, the more likelihood they can put more ads on your videos. And another thing that a lot of people have a misconception about is that they think if I turn on the ads, it's going to turn off the audience. But here's the other thing that you need to be aware of. If you're making 8 to 10 minute videos, whether you turn them ads on or off, it doesn't matter to YouTube. If you have a video that's doing well, they're going to put the ad on there anyway. So you might as well get paid for it.
Right.
Flick on ads. I know that there was a rule or thumb that was going out there, especially in the real estate niche, that your competitors could put ads onto your videos and steal your clientele.
Yeah, let them.
Yeah, well, here's the as well as I do, and you as a viewer know, if you're getting an ad in a video, what's the first thing you're doing? You're looking straight. You're not paying even attention.
Can't wait till you can skip it.
Yeah, you're looking down and you're waiting for that little timer to go around and hit the next button, right? You're not paying attention to it. So if your competitors are putting ads on there, don't take that as they're stealing from you, or most people don't want to watch the ad. They were there to watch the video. They're wanting to get past that ad.
Yep.
You can't have that scarcity mindset that they're stealing from you all the time. It's just make your money. Most of the time it's like, especially when it's real estate videos, they're always like investment stuff. Oh, here's my buy rich quick scheme. All you have to do is do this, like they're always that type of ads that are on there on real estate channels. So don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Can you think of any other stupid things that people think of? Well, not stupid. I shouldn't say stupid, but there's a lot of little myths out there.
I think the biggest thing is that you try, like, do your best to like do your due diligence. I think we tell lots of people that in real estate when they're buying or selling, do your due diligence, make sure you like really, really understand and know what you're getting into. And I think YouTube's the same way. Like if someone's telling you something and it sounds too good to be true, like research it. Don't pay any money until you do some research, and you may find that what they're saying is not what you're actually getting. And really what it comes down to is just finding a way that if you're like, I think the biggest thing is if you want to be relevant and you want to put out content, part of that is, one, you can get to a way bigger audience than you've ever gotten to before using YouTube. And then the other thing is you'll get better at it. And so the more you do it, the better you get, but you can't give up. And I think a lot of people are like, well, it's not worth the squeeze. And, and it may not be in the beginning, because it may be that you're having to do a lot more and it doesn't really seem to be working. And then all of a sudden it'll click. And what happens is you understand something or you get something, and then you're like, okay, yeah, that's great. I want to capitalize on that. It gives you a little boost to keep making content and stuff. But ultimately, if you're not getting results from it, like, then you're not doing it right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing, is finding what you need to change and make these little small tweaks, like Daryl talks about. You make these small tweaks and then you'll have these big peaks. And so I think that's why we get on these live streams, is to give the information, and hopefully people are inspired enough to go, I'm going to go give that a shot. And we've had people message us and tell us, just by watching your live streams, we've implemented what you've said and we've seen increases. So I think it's really important that people just look at it, and it's like anything, you've got to own it. So if you're going to do YouTube, then you need to just do it. Like you can't go and then be like 6 months later, be like, well, that sucked. It didn't work. And I'm not going to continue working on it.
Right. Here's another one that always kills me is, if I don't put the name of the city that I live in the channel name, then no one's going to know that that's what my channel is about. So
Yeah.
it could be like moving in Boston or living in Boston or, Boston real estate. I mean, there's no SEO juice that's going to make that happen, right? The titles of your thumbnail, your titles of your videos and the thumbnails that you use are what drives traffic to your channel. You could name your channel Peanut Butter and Jelly Real Estate, right? And you could still talk about Boston real estate in every single video. And it's still going to go into Boston. Just because you named your channel with Boston in it doesn't make it SEO, like it does not give it SEO juice. And I wanted some clarity on that, because I mean, I had heard it several times from gurus on the stage that was the case. And so I, of course, went to Daryl because he's the knower of all. And I asked him, I'm like, so does this give it Google juice? Because that's what I heard. He's like, Google juice. Jeez. He's like, that's a new one.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
haven't
like,
heard
yeah,
that
well,
one
that's
before.
what I heard on stage. He's like, there's no truth to that whatsoever. You don't have to name it your area or the town in order to give it more Google juice.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, I think what a lot of people like, there's lots of misconceptions, there's lots of things, but there's also changes,
mhm.
and there's lots of changes that come up and we have to be able to adapt. I'm
Right.
curious, I don't know if you've spent much time looking into the new update that they did for the YouTube Shorts, the way they're doing the algorithm. Have you looked into that at all?
I am not. I'm not.
So, and I don't know, I want to talk to Daryl about this,
Uh-huh.
but there's a new update that just was released on the 31st of March, and they're basically now going to count each view like they do with TikTok and with Instagram. So like before, I don't know if it's because they wouldn't count like an impression until like a second was viewed or whatever. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure, but it seems pretty good. So I want to talk to him because I don't know the answer to this.
Uh-huh.
Is this going to, if that's the way that they're going to start counting it, does it make sense to start making some shorts? So,
Well, I already can hear part of his answer. If you're not going to take the time to make a
the short is good as your long form, then it's
then
not worth
don't do
doing
it.
I
Yeah.
know
So
that part.
right. So like everybody needs to understand this, that because I know that you probably heard from other people that like, oh, you have to do lives and you have to do shorts and you have to do long form. The thing about shorts on YouTube, it's much different than TikTok. They're there for the information, and TikTok wants something that is a little bit higher end than you would see on a TikTok. So with shorts, you have even less time to get their people's attention than you do on long form. You have to look at that short just like you would look at a video. It is storytelling in a minute. So you're looking at it with the hook, the gush, the body of the video, the payoff. You're taking them on a journey for the whole 60 seconds, and you make that count. Those whole 60 seconds. If you're going to take your long form videos, just cut them up with Opus clips and throw them on shorts and think something's going to happen, you're going to be highly disappointed. And it actually could cause detriment to the rest of your channel because it just seems like sloppy content. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some comment that came up here. It says, when I got started, we had the mentality that we wouldn't see any results for 12 to 18 months. This helped us continue to make content regardless. In reality, our 6 months, we got our first lead and steadily grown from there. A lot of what we implemented came only from the Facebook groups and the lives. Here we go. Of course, the channel reviews helped tremendously. Well, that's fantastic. And I know that you've been in a lot of the Facebook group. If you don't know, and if anybody in the audience doesn't know, we have a Facebook group, Real Estate YouTube Mastermind. We could give out a lot of free information. We're going to be having another 30-day challenge coming up as well. If you haven't done the 30-day challenge, I strongly recommend it. It's a bunch of little tips for you to help improve your channel. There's people that just only took the 30-day challenge and they saw results just in that very short period of time, just from the little things that help you get leads.
It's just little reminders, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, right. I forgot.
I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that. Will shorts bring in a different audience than your longs? That's what I'm afraid of. So it could.
It could, but
It
may not.
Right. That's why I'm telling you, when you take the time with your shorts and you're understanding who the audience is, just like you do for your long form, instead of just cutting it up and putting it in Opus clips and calling it a day. If you are taking that time and making a short for what a short is, it shouldn't skew your audience.
Yeah. If you're really going towards having a good hook, having good content, and then the way that I would see it working is that you use that to leverage to get a new audience in, and then it pushes them to your long form stuff. So you're creating the information, you're showing them the things that then engages them to go see more of what you're doing.
Yep. So Idaho Living says, we struggle so much with lead gen on our relocation videos. Our market channels close deals, but it seems the relocation videos are not producing. Thoughts with the current market. So then this is something I've been testing as well. In your videos, like towards the end, you know how like you have those end screen elements, the little cards that show up at the end, and you're having them go to other videos. In the other quarter, have a QR code that goes to your website. Like you make a transparent QR code, just make that an element overlay on your channel for the last 15-20 seconds. And another thing is that maybe like during your video, if your audience retention, let's just say, is a average about 35%, at that 30% mark, try to do some kind of call to action that doesn't sound salesy, but it sounds like something that they might implement. Like, oh, like if you know what, I have a relocation guide that will really be helpful. Just go ahead and scan this QR code and it will take you right to it. I wouldn't normally tell people to do that, but if you're wanting to get more,
it works if you tell them.
It works if you tell them, especially if you're only getting a 30% retention rate anyways. You might as well grab their attention while you have it and do something that you need them to do for you, which is be a lead. Be a lead. Now, if you're trying to boost up your real estate, if you're trying to boost up your your retention rates on your videos, like you need to work on that with a completely different strategy and how you do that call to action. Just be very careful on how you do it, because anytime you sound like a salesperson, I don't give a flip what niche you're in. You sound like a salesperson, they already hate real estate agents, and now they're like, oh, there's the hidden agenda. They're not trying to help me at all. Yep. So shorts should be well crafted. Absolutely. If you are going to take the time to do shorts and not do them haphazardly, and you're wanting your ultimate reward is for you to get more leads, then make a short to get more leads. Don't make a short to just fill in space.
Yeah.
Yep. I concur, Joe Ease. Are you? Oh, you're answering the. Yeah.
I just didn't answer, but it's true. I mean, all of these things, it's like you need to give people a direct access. And when you provide value, I think the biggest thing is if you're trying to get someone to subscribe and like and share before you've given any information, that's not going to work. But if you've given good information and then it's like, hey, if you want to chat more about this, or you want to learn a little bit more about what we're talking about, go ahead and scan that QR code and set up a time and let's chat. It only needs to be just like that. And then you can move right back into making your content, and that stuff works very effectively.
Right. And I'm just going to say this. I think it's pretty well known, but I want it to be clear. Whenever you're doing your videos, never start off with, hey, it's, Christina Smallhorn with ABC Realty here with you in Idaho. And we're going to be talking about 5 ways to buy a home. But before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now you've wasted 30 seconds of their time. They do not care who you are. They do not care who you work for. They don't care to like, share, and subscribe because you have offered them nothing within those 30 seconds.
Yep.
So if you're doing that, I'm pretty much everybody knows that now. But if you don't, like, stop doing that immediately. They're there for the 5 reasons why you should buy a home. Get into the 5 reasons they should buy a home immediately. And, you know, if your broker is insisting that their name of their brokerage needs to be on the video or whatever, you can use that as a lower third on the bottom. You put your name at the bottom. You can, like, that, instead of saying who you are, just let them read it. It's there, you know. You can just put Christina Smallhorn, you know, ABC Realty, blah, 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 you know, just put it at the bottom. I used to have a broker that insisted on doing that. And so then I quit working for that broker because I thought that was so stupid. I'm like, why am I advertising for you? You could fire me tomorrow, you know. But there are some laws and compliance stuff that you need to be aware of too. So if you happen to live in a small town and you don't have a lot of other YouTube channels to follow, and you're thinking, well, I'm just going to follow what Christina does on her YouTube channel and her YouTube banner and everything, you could have completely different state compliance. So like I have to have certain things on my channel in the channel banner to, you know, specify that I am a real estate agent. Like I have to write certain things in my descriptions of my videos because that's what the state here requires me to do. So find out your state compliance with that as well, because I don't want you guys getting in trouble because all you're trying to do is make some videos. When all of this was coming out, a lot of people were trying to be, you know, there's a lot of real estate agents out there that are old and they're like, it's the same one that says your sign's been out for 48 hours and you haven't put it in the MLS. It's those same people. You don't want to give them a reason to get you in trouble for something stupid. So make sure that the little things are state compliant so you don't get yourself in hot water for something dumb.
I agree 100%. So what are some things, I mean, we've got a couple of people watching and stuff. So what are some things that you guys are running into that, you know, and if you want, you could just send us a message. We don't have to put it up there, but like, I think it's good that, you know, we have conversations to say, you know, what are you struggling with? Is it thumbnail design? Is it editors? Christina, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to say because I was like, I just thought of this. Because I got a call this morning. They're like, my market is dying right now. There's a lot
that's happening in a lot of places.
Right. There's a lot more listings that are popping up and there's not a lot of buyers. Like it seems like all the buyers are now sitting back and they don't want to do that. Should I pause my channel? Should I quit making content? Should I switch my channel? What should I be doing? And I will tell you this, the last thing you should freaking be doing is stopping making content, because the people that are out there that are afraid about these market conditions are going to be looking for people to give them advice on what to do. So if you happen to live in an area and you have a local channel and you are seeing a lot of listings, you need to address it and nip it in the bud right away. So that way you become the expert in the area. And I would start like saturating that area as well. With that kind of information. Now, this is the kind of content that is perfectly geared for you to make right now as we head back into the spring, because when the spring and summer hits up and people are going to be more panicked, you have old content that relates to their problems right now. That is, now you can put in those newsletters. Now you can start blanketing your email lists. That's what I would start doing. Start making those blog posts on those videos that relate to the problems that they're going to be facing at the end of summer, hitting into fall.
And those things you can totally leverage AI with. I think that's the biggest thing is like work with those things smarter that you have to do, that you've been doing. You can do it faster. And one of the things that I think that, to go along exactly with what you're saying, is a lot of agents are getting super nervous and they're going, I got to do a side hustle. I got to do something else. I'm not, you know. And so one of the very first things that happens when people do that is they cut their advertising. They cut their spending on promoting themselves because they are so worried about like their income and overhead. But when that happens, like that kills your business. So you literally have this opportunity because one, if you're not busy, you could be making videos. If you don't know how to make videos, you can learn how to make videos. And the thing is doing that and starting to put content out will keep you busy, and it will help you stay motivated to doing the things to work through this. And just like you're saying, Christina, in 6 months, in a year, that all of these things are going to hit, and who knows where the market's going to go, but you'll be doing more content than your competitors.
Yep. And like, honestly, if you have to dial back on your advertising and the phone isn't ringing right now, this is the perfect time for you to really dive deep into doing content on YouTube. I mean, and YouTube is my favorite thing, honestly, because it doesn't matter when you start. There's always a chance for everybody to go viral at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to, there's a few things you need to understand. Who are you making content for? And what is that content? What is your niche? And like, people are so confused by that. I was actually talking to some people today, and they were like, well, we want to work with sellers, but we also want to work with those sellers when they become buyers. So we're a buyer sellers channel. And I'm like, no, either you're a seller's channel or you're a buyer's channel. You're only hitting the pain points. And they were like, but there's pain points when you sell your house to buy the next house. Right. But you have to focus your content on their first problem and the one problem only. Like, my channel is completely about affordable housing. That's it. That's all I talk about, is all the different affordable housing options. I hit their pain point and I give them all the solutions just for that particular pain point. That's it. I don't talk about mansions. I don't talk about condos. I don't talk about, like, I stick to what that avatar wants. And that's why I was able to get a lot more momentum with my channel when I focused on that. That's so important. And people, especially in the real estate niche, they start making, they do video tours of neighborhoods. Then they do the market report. Then they do, the balloon festival that just happened in their area. And they were like, well, I'm just really a guide for my whole entire area. You were like literally throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping something sticks, because you're not only confusing audience, you're confusing YouTube, because they're like, I don't know, is it a balloon festival channel? Is it a real estate channel? What is this?
Is it a best of, like,
yeah,
this
like,
city,
is it a home
is it
tour
a
channel?
review? Is it a review channel? Are you reviewing restaurants?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, like, they'll say, oh, this newest restaurant just opened up in our area. That's one. I'm like, what does that have to do with real estate?
Yeah.
And like, you have to stay focused on real estate. You have to stay focused on your niche. If you are wanting to work with investors, don't make content about first-time home buyers. Stick with investors.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I work with everybody. I realize that. But when you're making content for everybody, you're talking to nobody.
Yeah.
You have to really think about who it is you're speaking to, and only speak to that person. Because what happens is, if you focus in on that one person, it ends up growing, because there's tons of people
there's tons of that one type of person.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. We have a comment that says, do you feel like there could be too much competition, that potential clients are oversaturated with YouTube videos? Our market is Boise, and it's so saturated with content. Matter of fact, that is so funny that you say that, because we just talked about that at the beginning of the live stream. Everybody has the opportunity. It does not matter. Like, it is a wide ocean full of many, many, many people. And you got to remember too, whenever somebody's looking for real estate information, they're looking for real estate information at that time.
Yeah.
So even though your competitor went viral 4 months ago, there's a whole new batch of eyeballs that are coming into your area that are looking for content, because they're looking for a home right now. Don't ever look at it like it's oversaturated, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Like, it's impossible to be oversaturated. It's impossible. because of the a gaming industry could be saturated because everybody's talking about the same game, and whatever you're doing on your channel can be completely different because there's sellers in Boise, there's buyers in Boise, there's people that are over 55 in Boise, there's first-time home buyers in Boise, there are there's so many different niches within real estate, and you know as well as I do, not everybody's an expert in buying land, right?
Yep.
Not everybody's an expert in condos, not everybody's an expert with sellers. So if you stay focused on exactly what you know how to do, and you're an expert in that, and you only talk on that subject, people will know you for, oh, I'm only going to go to Living Idaho Living, go to that channel because they're the ones that know all about land buying. Those other guys, all they talk about is a bunch of real estate stuff, but that one knows everything you can about buying land.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of noise out there. Be the answer to that one avatar's problem, and you will find tons of avatars that are just like that, or looking for that information.
And if you don't know what to make, or if you're like confused because you're like, oh, I just don't know like what kind of content I should be making, that the easiest thing is look at who you're working with right now and pay attention to the questions that they're asking you. And if they're asking you questions like, I'm moving here, what should I be looking for? Like, what are the things to avoid? Like, how do I, and the thing is that you've probably done real estate for a while. So it's like, it's just natural. You understand and know. So you're not really even like recognizing the value that you're providing. So take a minute and go back and think about the questions and go, oh, it could be as simple as, hey, we have people that are moving here. What are 5 tips to avoid, 5 biggest mistakes that people make when moving to Boise, or wherever? It doesn't really matter, but then you talk about those things in your way, and you will speak to certain people, and then other people are going to be like, nah, I don't like the pacing, I don't like how they sound. So not like Christine and I could make the exact same video. Matter of fact, we've done it many times. We've made videos where we've had the exact same script, and then she says stuff, and then I say stuff. And when you watch it, our personalities come through in those videos. So even though it's the same information, it's not the same. It's not received the same.
It's not connecting the same. And that's the other thing too, is that your personality is going to be actually repellent to some people, while other people are drawn to your personality. It's kind of like I work in an area that has a ton of engineers. And whenever that phone rings and say, I'm an engineer for blah, blah, blah plant, I'm like, ugh, because I already know we're not going to get along.
Yeah.
Like they're going to drive me absolutely insane because I have a very, obviously a very jabbermouth, give way too much information, and these people they have no personalities, right? But another agent who's super analytical, that's really big into numbers and knows when to shut their mouth, unlike myself, it would be perfect for that engineer. They don't want that. So what you add to your channel with your personality, understanding your avatar, you're going to connect with that audience and bring them in.
Yep. 100%.
Yep. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
I don't know where I've heard that before, but I like it. Your
all
vibe.
good things, all good things.
Yeah. And that there's so many misconceptions when it comes to YouTube. It's never too late to start a channel. Never, ever, ever. It's never going to be saturated in your market. That's literally impossible. There's always seasons in real estate. Just because the market is bad, that doesn't mean that's when you pull back from doing real estate content. That's when you should double up on making real estate content. Just because your competition is doing live streams and shorts, that doesn't mean that you should be doing live streams and shorts unless you can spend that time to dedicate making it look good and connect with your real estate avatar and niche. Like all those little things on your channel, like your channel banner and your about page, they're not terribly important, but it is something you should go back and look at and see if it's up to date and looks professional and is something that your avatar would be interested in. I've changed my channel banner probably 3 times in the last 10 years or 8
Yeah.
years. Like the banner doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, but it is something that if somebody was to share your channel, you want to have a good impression, first impression. And then there is no SEO magic button that's going to make any of your videos blow up.
Yeah.
I know that you get offered all of these plugins for your channel that's going to tell you all like, oh, we're going to tell you the best titles. We're going to tell you the best tags. We're going to tell you the best ways to do your thumbnail. Those are tools, but I promise you the title that they give you is not going to be the one that attracts the audience. I can spot an AI or created thumbnail not by a human being in literally a split second. I already know. I'm like, oh, that was created with AI. That title's created with AI. It's so obvious to the eye. You have to connect with people. That's your number one job, is to connect with people with your content. And if you are depending on AI to create those titles, they read like stereo instructions. They read like an encyclopedia. It is not going to connect with the audience. They are good guidelines. They are not the thing that's going to make your videos successful. So,
Yep.
sorry, I went on a tangent.
It went on a little, you got to listen.
A little rant there. I had a little moment. What was I going to tell you? Oh, branding. Here's another thing too that happens a lot. Whenever you are making your videos, you still want them to connect with your audience and be consistent. And I know that like on Instagram, you can use some really flowy, pretty font, but I want you to pick one font and stick with that font for every single thumbnail to the day you die. And the reason I'm telling you this is, first of all, font on thumbnails needs to be easy, clear, and chunky for the eyeball to read. When you're doing anything swirly or cursive-y, it turns people off and it's very difficult. You have a split second to get their attention. So the words that you use on there should be very visually easy to read, like a 2-year-old could read it. Pick that font and stick with it. When you start to being inconsistent because you're trying to follow what everybody else is doing, and one day you have Impact and the next day you have Chunk 5 and the next video you have it isn't connecting with the audience. When you have something that's consistent, first of all, when somebody goes to your YouTube page, it all looks like it's in line and it's meant to be part of your branding. And then secondly of all, it doesn't look like you're just scrambling and flailing in the water, like fish out of water. Like, I don't know what I'm doing this week. I'm just going to put this on here. So yeah, that consistency of the font, the consistency of the colors that you use, all of that stuff, believe it or not, does matter.
Yep.
So find your colors and stick with them. I've had that pink, that obnoxious hot pink, since the dawn of time. Now I've adjusted that pink over a little bit of time too. I used to have like pink, blue. It was pink, blue, and green. That's what I was using. Pink, blue, and green. Now I just consistently stick with the pink and blue. I mean, pink and black. That's it. That's it. And it's not as obnoxious. It's there. It's always
everything
there.
evolves though, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's there's just an evolution of it. And I think that's the thing, is you're going to even notice in your video editing skills and your editing style. Even if you like right now are like, well, that's too tight, I can't hire an editor, then you can edit yourself. That can be part of it. So you at least understand and know how to do it so you can hand it off to them.
Right. And speaking of things that have changed, when I first started having, like B-roll that you got from places like Storyblocks and stuff like that, people used to watch that and be like, wow, your videos are really good. Now the audience has changed so much. They would much rather see video that looks like it was filmed on a potato and it's not even turned the right way. They don't
Yep.
want that. Like,
It looks more authentic.
right. They don't want that stock footage. Like,
Yep.
send your kid out there with an iPhone, taking photos and videos with their iPhone. That they much prefer that than that stock imagery. I've even read in some of my comments, you lost credibility when you use stock imagery. I was like, yikes.
Yeah.
But those are things you need to be paying attention to when you do your content as well.
Yep. And it's always changing. There's always new things.
Yep, always
And
new
we
things,
just
and that's you got to pay attention to those analytics. But if you want to know a little bit more about your analytics and you want to get some more information, next week we can do some channel reviews if you're interested in that. And also, you can always go to our course. We have a course, the realestatevideogeeks.com, and you can join our course. And I don't know when we're going to start our next 30-day review, but if you go to Real Estate YouTube Mastermind, we'll post it there when we're going to go ahead and start that next 30-day review. And one more plug I want to throw out there. I will be in San Antonio and I'll be doing a speaking engagement with Tim Macy and several other creators. That's coming up on the 28th in San Antonio, Texas. I'd love to see you guys out there. So I think I don't know if I'm a keynote speaker, but I'm one of the speakers out there. I'm excited.
That's awesome. It's going to be great. And so, yeah, there's lots to do. We want to obviously help as much as we can. However, there is that part where you guys have to do stuff. We can only do so much, and then it's on you. But we are grateful for everybody that comments and follows and applies the things that we're talking about and has wins. We love seeing that and hearing that for sure.
It geeks us out. We always get geeked out.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, whenever we get a message, they're like, "Oh man, I did some stuff." And like, look how much my video has improved. I'm like, "Yep." Me and Joe are like, "Yep, we know our stuff."
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody, you have a fantastic week. We'll see you next Thursday. If there's anything that you have a question about, make sure you put it in the Real Estate YouTube Mastermind, and we will see you soon. Bye. Be good.
Yeah.
It's the end of the stream. Christina and Joe taught you all the tricks, make your leads grow. From thumbnails to tags, you gotta be bold. YouTube's the key, turn your listings to gold. Edit those vids, make them snappy, make them fly. Engage with your audience, connect, don't be shy. Realtor to the core, but tech on your side. Hit that algorithm like a digital tide. This is the final click, now you're in the know. Use YouTube to flourish, let them listings blow. It's the small details that bring in the dough. From Christina and Joe, here's the way to go. Every upload strategic so your views ain't stopping. Consistency's key, schedule that drop. Content's king, crown it at the top. So you learn the ropes from two of the best. Christina and Joe, put your skills to the test. Turn those leads into clients, make your channel explode. Realtor success on the digital road. This is the final click, now you're in the know.